Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. If you want to know why your value starts to disappear in the eyes of a man, you need to hear this. Not with your ears, but with your heart. Because your value is not in how you look, what you wear, or what you can offer physically. Your value is in how you carry yourself, how you let others treat you, and how you demand to be respected. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be straight with you. Nothing makes a man lose respect faster than a woman who acts desperate. Now, I know that word hurts. I know it feels heavy, but sometimes we need to call a thing what it is. Desperation shows up when a woman starts believing that being alone is a problem, like she's missing something in her life if there's no man beside her. So she lowers her standards, silences her voice, and starts accepting behavior she would never allow if she really knew her worth. That's what desperation does. It makes you blind to the truth and willing to settle for the lie. When a man senses that a woman is afraid to be alone, he knows he holds all the power. And believe me, some men will use that power. They'll test you. They'll see how far they can go, how late they can call, how many days they can disappear without checking in, how little effort they can make and still get your time, your attention, your affection. And if you keep showing up, keep giving, keep hoping, they take mental notes. They think, I don't have to respect her time. She's always available. I don't have to show her consistency. She'll always come back. I don't have to offer her commitment. She'll accept confusion. Why? Because your desperation made it easy. See, a confident woman doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She doesn't text 5 times when he doesn't reply once. She doesn't cancel her plans for a maybe. She doesn't stay up late wondering why he hasn't called. She knows who she is. She knows what she brings. And more importantly, she knows what she won't tolerate. That's not arrogance, that's self-respect. And when a woman has self-respect, it sets the tone for how everyone around her, especially men, will treat her. But when you let desperation lead, you start twisting yourself into someone you're not just to make a man stay. You start changing how you dress, how you talk, how you laugh, what you believe, all to become the kind of woman you think he wants. And guess what? You lose yourself in the process. You become unrecognizable to the very man you're trying to impress. And then you wonder why he starts to drift, why the calls slow down, why the attention fades. Because nobody can maintain interest in someone who doesn't value themselves. Let me break it down even further. If a man walks into a store and sees a high-priced item on the shelf, he knows he's got to work for it, save up for it, prove he can afford it. But if that same item is thrown in the discount bin, he'll grab it quick and forget it faster. It's not about what the item is, it's about how it's presented. Are you showing up in your life like something valuable, rare, worth the wait? Or are you presenting yourself like something that'll do for now just so you won't be left alone? Desperation doesn't just lower your value in the eyes of a man, it drains your spirit. It makes you anxious. It keeps you up at night. It has you checking your phone, rereading old messages, holding on to hope that deep down you know isn't real. It turns love into a game and you into the player who's always losing. That's not love, that's fear. Fear of being alone, fear of not being enough, fear of not being chosen. But let me tell you something. It's better to be alone and respected than accompanied and disrespected. It's better to wait for a man who sees your value than settle for one who takes advantage of your fear. A man may like your beauty, he may enjoy your body, he may even appreciate your kindness, but if he senses desperation, he will never truly respect you. And without respect, love cannot survive. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something that's wrecking relationships before they even begin. Giving too much too soon. Now, I know some people were raised to be givers. You've got a big heart you love deep and you're proud of it. That's beautiful. But when that giving comes before a man has earned anything, before he's proven anything, before he's even made it clear what his intentions are, it's not generosity anymore. It's an open invitation to be misused. I see it happen all the time. A woman meets a man, and in the first few weeks, she's already treating him like he's her husband. She's cooking for him, giving him money, sacrificing her time, making space in her schedule, changing her routine, even compromising her values, all to keep a man who hasn't even decided to claim her. She's investing everything and he hasn't put a dime into the relationship. That's not balance. That's business going bad. You wouldn't walk into a store and hand over your credit card before seeing the price, would you? You wouldn't invest your money into a business that hasn't shown you the plan, the goals, the return, the commitment. So why would you invest your heart, your body, your energy, your peace into a man who hasn't shown you he's serious? You think giving more will make him love you more? But that's not how men work. A man values what he earns, not what he gets handed to him. Freely, when you overgive too soon, you take away the natural rhythm of building a relationship. Relationships are supposed to unfold step by step. Trust is built slowly. Respect is earned. Boundaries are tested and confirmed. But when you rush to give everything, you skip those steps. And the truth is, a man who hasn't worked for anything doesn't feel the need to protect it. If he hasn't had to earn your time, your body, your loyalty, he's not going to feel the weight of losing it either. What happens next is predictable. You start to feel like you're doing all the work. You start asking yourself why he's pulling away. You start noticing how one-sided things have become. And it's because he didn't ask for all of that up front. You offered it. And now instead of being appreciated, you're being taken for granted. Instead of being valued, you're being tolerated. You think you're proving your love, but all he sees is convenience. Ladies, giving is a beautiful thing, but it must come with boundaries. There is strength in giving, but there's also wisdom in waiting. Don't give so much of yourself to someone who hasn't even decided if he wants to keep you. Don't play the role of a wife when you're not even his girlfriend. Don't build a man up, fix his life, support his dreams while your own needs are being overlooked. If a man truly sees your worth, he will step up. He will give back. He will protect what you give. But if he doesn't, and you keep giving, it's not love, it's a setup for heartbreak. A man who's serious about you will never be comfortable watching you do all the work. He'll match your energy. He'll meet your effort. He'll want to give as much as he receives, if not more. But if he's not doing that, and you're still pouring in everything, you're not in a relationship. You're in a transaction where you're the only one paying. And when you keep paying without a return, that's not giving. That's being used. So remember this. Your time is precious. Your love is valuable. Your energy is not unlimited. Give to a man who gives back. Love someone who loves in return. Don't let your good heart become the reason you get hurt. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause and let a man show you what he's about before you hand him everything you've got. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. There is nothing more damaging to a woman's presence than insecurity. You could be the most beautiful woman in the room, the one with style, grace, charm, and a smile that lights up everything around her. But if deep down you don't believe in yourself, if you carry self-doubt everywhere you go, that insecurity will speak louder than any beauty ever could. It walks into the room before you do. It shows up in your body language, in your silence, in your need for approval, and in the way you look at yourself when nobody's watching. A man can see it. He may not say it out loud, but he sees when a woman doubts herself. He notices when she asks if she's good enough, when she constantly seeks validation, when she needs reassurance every other moment just to feel seen. And let me tell you, confidence is magnetic, but insecurity repels. Not because a man wants perfection, but because real men are drawn to strength, not weakness that's hidden behind makeup and a forced smile. I've seen women who don't fit the world standard of beauty walk into a room and command attention just because they know who they are. They don't wait for a compliment to feel beautiful. They walk like they already know it. They speak like they matter. They move like they belong. And I've seen women who had everything on the outside, looks, body, fashion, but because they didn't believe in themselves, they were constantly asking, do I look okay? Do you still like me? Are you sure I'm enough? That kind of talk doesn't pull a man in. It makes him question why you don't see what he might have seen in you at first. Insecurity makes you settle. It makes you stay in places you've outgrown, accept behavior you don't deserve, and cling to people who don't even treat you right just because you think it's the best you can get. That mindset doesn't just kill your spirit, it lowers your value. And when a man senses that you don't believe in your worth, he starts to wonder why he should. Because if you don't respect yourself, if you don't protect your heart, if you don't walk with your head held high, you're telling him that something's missing, and he'll start looking for that something somewhere else. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to look like anybody else. You don't have to have it all together. But what you do need is to stop letting fear write your story. Stop comparing yourself to other women. Stop assuming that you're always one step away from being replaced. Stop trying to shrink yourself so a man won't feel threatened. The right man won't be intimidated by your light. He'll help you shine it brighter, but you have to believe you have that light in the first place. And let me say this too, no man can fix your insecurity. You can't be made whole by someone else, when you're breaking yourself apart every time you look in the mirror. You got to heal that. You got to dig deep and figure out why you don't feel worthy, why you keep doubting your own beauty, your own power, your own place, because until you do, even the best relationship won't be enough. You'll keep looking for proof that you're lovable instead of just knowing you are. A confident woman isn't one who's never been hurt. She's the one who decided not to let the hurt define her. She's the one who's been through things, but didn't let those things steal her self-worth. That's the kind of woman a real man respects. That's the kind of energy that doesn't need to beg, doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to perform. She just shows up as herself. And that's more than enough. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that might sting a little, but you need to hear it. What you tolerate sets the tone for how you'll be treated. A man doesn't just wake up one day and disrespect you. It happens little by little, moment by moment. Every time you let something slide that should have been addressed, every time you smiled when you should have spoken up, every time you stayed silent just to keep the peace when you were the one feeling broken inside, that silence, that tolerance, that hesitation to demand more, it sends a clear message. And the message is this: you can treat me like this and I'll still be here. You see, a man learns you by how you react. If he lies and you forgive without requiring change, he learns that lying has no consequences. If he disappears and comes back whenever he feels like it, and you welcome him with open arms, he learns that your time isn't valuable. If he raises his voice, dismisses your feelings, makes jokes at your expense, and you laugh it off, he learns that your dignity is up for grabs. And over time, what was once a beautiful connection turns into a place where you feel small, unheard, and unimportant, all because the boundaries were never set and the standards were never enforced. Now, don't get me wrong, no relationship is perfect. People make mistakes. But there's a difference between a mistake and a pattern. A mistake gets corrected, a pattern gets tolerated. And when you start accepting patterns of disrespect, you're not just allowing it, you're teaching it. You're teaching that man how far he can go before you walk away. And if you never walk away, he'll keep pushing the line. Here's the truth. People treat you based on what you accept. And when a man sees that you accept less than you deserve, he doesn't raise his standards, he lowers yours. Because now he doesn't have to give more, he doesn't have to try harder, he doesn't have to change. Why would he? You're still there. You're still giving. You're still hoping that one day he'll see your worth. But let me ask you this. How can you see it when you keep hiding it behind your silence? Tolerating disrespect doesn't make you strong. It doesn't make you loyal. It doesn't prove your love. It shows that you're afraid. Afraid to be alone. Afraid to start over. Afraid that maybe no one better will come along. But let me tell you something. Being alone with your peace is better than being with someone who constantly disturbs it. And starting over might be scary, but staying in something that chips away at your spirit day by day is far worse. You deserve respect, not just in words, but in actions. And in how he speaks to you, how he listens, how he honors your time, how he treats your heart. And if you're not getting that, if you're constantly having to remind someone of your value, then you're not being loved, you're being tolerated. And that's not a position you should ever accept. A woman's value is not in what she endures. It's in what she refuses to tolerate. It's in her standards. It's in her courage to walk away when she's not being treated right. That's not being difficult. That's being clear. And clarity is powerful. So many women confuse patience with acceptance. They think staying quiet, being understanding, giving second, third, and fourth chances is what love looks like. But real love doesn't need to hurt. Real love doesn't make you question your worth. Real love doesn't need to be taught how to treat you. It just does. And until you believe that, you'll keep lowering yourself to fit inside relationships that were never meant to hold the woman you really are. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something a lot of women don't want to hear, but it's the truth. When you start acting like the man in the relationship, you take away a man's ability to be what he was built to be. See, men are wired to lead, to pursue, to protect, to provide. That's how we're designed. And when a woman steps into that position and starts doing all the chasing, all the fixing, all the proving, a man doesn't rise up, he backs off. Because whether you know it or not, you've taken his role, you've taken his purpose in the relationship, and now he's just there, not needed, not motivated, not invested. Now, I'm not saying a woman shouldn't be strong or independent. I'm not saying you should shrink yourself, play dumb, or pretend you don't know how to do things. That's not what this is about. Strength is beautiful, independence is attractive. But when it starts to feel like you're the one making all the plans, initiating all the conversations, solving all the problems, and carrying all the emotional weight, when it starts to feel like you're doing his job and yours too, something's wrong. And the truth is, a real man doesn't want to compete with his woman for control. He wants to feel trusted, respected, and needed. Not bossed around, not chased, and definitely not mothered. When you take the lead in everything, it may feel like you're just being proactive, just trying to keep the relationship alive, just trying to show love, but it comes off as forceful. You're unknowingly sending the message that he doesn't have to work, that he doesn't have to pursue, that he doesn't need to step up because you've already taken care of it. That energy imbalance starts creating distance, and the more you chase, the more he runs. Not because he doesn't like you, not because you're not amazing, but because he doesn't feel like a man around you. He feels replaced. Men need space to operate in their masculine energy. That doesn't mean controlling everything. It means taking responsibility, making moves, solving problems, leading with strength and direction. And when a woman respects that space, when she allows a man to step into that role, instead of always filling it herself, something powerful happens. He grows. He becomes more invested. He becomes more consistent. Why? Because he feels trusted. And a man who feels trusted becomes more reliable. But a man who constantly feels like his woman doesn't believe in him, like she has to double check every step, like she always has to be the one pushing things forward, he'll either shut down or walk away. You can be strong and still allow a man to lead. You can be independent and still make room for his role. It's not about giving up your power. It's about understanding the balance between masculine and feminine energy. When a woman stays in her feminine energy, calm, confident, receptive, full of grace, it draws out the best in a man. It inspires him to lead better, love harder, and show up fully. But when a woman takes over everything, when she stops giving him space to grow, to prove, to show up, he stops trying. You don't have to prove you're worthy by doing everything. You don't have to control everything to feel secure. The right man will take the lead if you let him. And he'll feel even more drawn to you when you trust him enough to take that place. That's the kind of partnership that lasts. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make it plain. How you treat yourself sets the bar for how a man will treat you. If you carry yourself like a queen, you make it clear that you require respect, honor, and effort. But if you walk through life with low self-respect, always bending, always apologizing for existing, always making yourself smaller so someone else can feel bigger, you are teaching him that you don't require much. And when a man sees that you don't respect yourself, he will believe it's okay not to respect you either. See, self-respect is not about arrogance. It's not about being mean or hard to deal with. It's about knowing what you bring to the table and refusing to beg someone to sit with you. It's about standing on your standards, not lowering them every time you get lonely or scared that no one else is coming. Because every time you drop your standards just to keep someone in your life, you're not holding on to love, you're giving away your power. And once a man knows you'll keep accepting less, why would he offer more? I see this happen far too often. A woman enters a relationship with dreams, values, and boundaries. But somewhere along the line, she starts compromising piece by piece. Maybe he talks down to her once and she lets it go. Maybe he disappears for days and she takes him back without a question. Maybe he flirts with other women right in front of her and she pretends not to notice, afraid of pushing him away. That's not love. That's fear disguised as loyalty. And fear has never built anything worth keeping. When you don't respect yourself, you teach a man that there's no price to hurting you, that he can play with your emotions, walk in and out of your life, speak to you however he wants, and you'll still be there. And let me tell you, men notice everything. They notice when you settle. They notice when you accept bad behavior. They notice when you value them more than you value yourself. And once they see that, they no longer feel the need to protect your heart because you're not even protecting it yourself. Self-respect is about choosing you even when it's hard. It's about walking away from what disrespects you even if it hurts. It's about saying, I love you, but I love myself more. And that's not selfish, it's necessary. Because if you don't choose you, nobody else will. If you don't show a man how to treat you, he'll treat you however it benefits him. That's not how a queen lives. That's how someone survives in relationships that should have ended long ago. Let's be real. The man who is meant for you will never ask you to lower your standards. He will never make you feel like you have to fight for his attention, beg for his respect, or chase after his love. That man will already come correct. And when he sees that you carry yourself with self-respect, he'll either rise to meet you or he'll walk away. And if he walks, let him. Because anyone who can't honor your worth doesn't deserve access to your presence. A woman with self-respect doesn't need to announce it. It shows in her choices, her tone, her silence, her walk, her eyes. She doesn't entertain foolishness. She doesn't fight for a spot in someone's life. She doesn't compete. She doesn't chase. She positions herself where peace lives and waits for someone who recognizes her value. That's not pride, that's clarity. So stop letting desperation write your love story. Stop giving out your heart like a discount sale. Stop thinking that loving someone more than you love yourself will make them stay. Because a man doesn't stay for what you give. He stays because of what he respects. And the first place respect starts is within you. When you carry yourself like you know exactly who you are and what you deserve, the wrong ones will fall back and the right one will step forward, not just to love you, but to honor you. Thank you.